On the top questions about the carnivore diet answered. That's what we're going to tackle today. We're so excited. I'm G. I have Laura and Robyn with me. We're going to tackle some of these questions, and we're going to try and answer some some challenging questions, right? Will the carnivore diet cause nutrient deficiencies? Is the carnivore diet safe for people with high cholesterol or heart disease? How does the carnivore diet impact gut health without fiber? And what are some long-term effects of zero plant-based foods? These are some great topics that we will address today. Welcome, everybody. We're here every Monday at 7 p.m. And I am going to kick it off to Miss Robyn. Start us off, Robyn.
All right. Welcome, everybody, back to episode 46 of Meaty Mondays with the Fierce FeLions. We're super excited to be here with you again tonight. And as G said, we are answering the top questions that are being asked right now about the carnivore diet. What are people interested in knowing? So, what I want to say to you is if you know Carnivore Curious, somebody who is interested and maybe just a little bit concerned or maybe a little bit worried or a little bit afraid to try it, this is the show for them. So I would like for you guys to go ahead and like and share and subscribe and share this video with somebody that you know is interested in carnivore, but they're a little bit worried about trying it out. So my topic for tonight has to do with what are the questions that people have when they first consider doing a carnivore diet? So if you're on carnivore, what I'm wondering from you is, can you remember what were the big questions that you had in your mind when you first started? People are very concerned about, can I get all my nutrients on a carnivore diet? What about heart health? Like, I'm hearing that carnivore is this high fat, no fiber. And what about heart health? Is my heart gonna blow up? Should I be concerned about heart health? And also, what about what about the fact that I really need to have fruits and vegetables? So tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And so the first one is around nutrient deficiencies. So we know that there is concern there that there are certain nutrients. Hey, Leah. Yeah, I got on my lipstick tonight. I'm trying to feel sassy. Nutrient deficiencies. So one of the biggest concerns that people have is, am I able to get all of my vitamins and minerals without eating any vegetables? So what I want to say is that there is very good news for you here with carnivore. And that is that a human body can get all of the vitamins and minerals that it needs from a meat-based way of eating. There's nothing that you cannot get. So if you're concerned about things like, let's say, vitamin C. So we think of oranges, we think of grapefruits. Can we get vitamin C from meat? And so there's things like liver that does have a small amount of vitamin C. What I want to just make sure that we all understand is, what we understand is that the nutrient levels that you need when you're on a standard American diet are so different from what you need when you're on a carnivore diet. And I see Laura over there nodding her head. Yep. Because most of what you're eating when you're eating a standard American diet, or even a mostly plant-based way of eating. So when I was on keto, I was plant-based keto. So I was eating, if I looked at my plate, most of my plate was filled with vegetables. And then I had added fat to that, but as far as meat is concerned, I was not eating a lot of meat. So the nutrient levels that you get out of those plants, you cannot get your nutrients out your body is not able to digest and process the nutrients that are coming out of those plants, right? So while the plants have the nutrients in them, those nutrients are not bioavailable to your body because you do not have the right kind of stomachs. And I will say stomachs, not just one. You don't have the right kind of stomachs to be able to make those nutrients available. So meat is going to make those vitamins very available to your body, and you will be able to process them. So the small amount of the nutrient vitamin C that you would need to get from that you need to have, you can get it from your meat. So what I want to say is that, it says here that there's evidence suggesting that your body needs less vitamin C when you're not eating carbs. So this is talking about free radicals. You're not producing as many free radicals as you were when you were eating carbohydrates. So, we know that there is a debate going on, and I'm not even calling they're calling it a debate, but I'm saying that whether or not a human being needs fiber, right? And if you go to different nutritionists and physicians, practitioners will tell you that there's some required level of fiber for various different maladies, ailments that you may have. And what we are finding out in the long term, people do not need fiber to process. And it's, well, I need fiber to be able to go to the bathroom. Okay. So I'm going to just tell you my testimony. I ate the standard American diet. I did keto for 5 years. I always, all of my life, had constipation, IBS with constipation. I never had a normal bowel movement until I went carnivore. So, so you do not need fiber in order to process your food, in order to have bowel movements. And so your gut microbiome may need to change over. So some people experience constipation when they first go carnivore. Some people experience diarrhea. Some people experience some different kinds of gastric distress. Hey, B. And so, but ultimately, your body does not need fiber in order to process your food and pass it through the colon, right? It does not require fiber. So, those are my thoughts on nutrient deficiencies. And we definitely don't need fiber. Fiber is a bulking agent. It will make your body feel full. It will make your bowel feel full because it adds bulk, right? But what I'm understanding, and Dr. Kiltz told me this out of his very own mouth, is that fiber is like a Brillo pad in the colon. So if you want to take a Brillo pad and scrape it through your colon, can you imagine what that's doing to the inside of your bowel? You see what happens when you use a Brillo pad to scrub or scrape anything. That's happening inside your bowel. And so I definitely do not recommend fiber. It's like a Brillo pad for the colon. So one other topic I want to touch on is cardiovascular health. And so we know that another major concern that people have is, if I eat a lot of fat and a lot of protein, I'm going to have a heart attack. And or I will cause myself some kind of clogging of the arteries, right? And what we know is that it's not fat that clogs the artery, right? It's plaque, right? It's plaque that clogs the artery. So if you think about what happens with natural fats, such as butter, lard, tallow, all those meat-based fats, they will melt and become soft when they're warmed up. And what temperature is the body? 98 degrees, right? So you're not going to have any solid fat in that at that temperature, right? So that is not fat that is clogging your arteries. That is plaque. And so with the carnivore diet being so high in fat, people worry that it leads to heart disease. But research is showing, and there is a lot of studies going on around low carb, ketogenic, and carnivore diets right now that they're studying all of this. And that long-term carnivores are finding that while there some people do have an elevation in LDL cholesterol, and I think Laura's going to focus on cholesterol, so I won't focus on it too much, but it might go up, but usually the markers of heart disease decrease overall. So I was looking up some people who have been on carnivore for a very long time. And so I want to mention, the first person I'm going to mention is Maggie from Alberta, Canada. And if you have not heard of Maggie, which I would be very surprised, Maggie has been on, she's going to be in the carnivore diet documentary, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. She is 80, maybe 81 years old right now, and she's been on a carnivore diet for over 65 years. And she's out there kicking butt. She's out there throwing bales. She's out there working a farm. She's running around like I would say like a 30-year-old. She is really, really doing well on a carnivore diet for over 60 years. And then the second person I want to mention is Rick at Charger Mopar. So I don't know if you guys see him. He's around here on a lot of different shows. And Rick, Maggie's 83. Okay, thank you, Felicity. Appreciate that. I knew she was in her 80s. Rick has been on a well, in his name at Charger Mopar, it says 40-year carnivore. So he's been doing carnivore for over 40 years. And I heard him the other night on one of the shows say that he started when he was 15 years old. And, Rick is doing great. And he's the one who actually coined the term heart attack style food, where you deep fry different meats in beef tallow, in lard. And so it's a play on words, because this food is not likely to give you a heart attack. So some people are concerned about the fact that they want or need to have plants, right? I need fruits and vegetables. And if you go to your doctor, they may tell you need to eat an apple a day. If you guys remember, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Mm-hmm. It gives you diabetes.
Sugar makes the medicine go down. Remember that stuff? Eat a banana every day because you need that for your potassium. So, people are concerned about eliminating all plants from their diets. But, what I will say is that a lot of carnivores, most carnivores, I can't think of one carnivore that I have ever heard talk about being a true carnivore, eating a primarily meat-based way of eating, even ketovore, and even some keto people that talk about the great reduction in inflammation. And so inflammation is a huge problem. It's causing all manner of disease, right? And so, we also have things like toxins in plant-based foods that people are not, we're just now, like within the last 18 months since I've been a carnivore, I started hearing about these things called oxalates and these things called lectins, plants' way of defending themselves by poisoning us.
Yes.
So you'll see Dr. Chafee talking about plants that are trying to kill you. And that seems pretty drastic, but plants have a lot of toxins in them. Those toxins, when you ingest them, get stored up in your cells. So as your insulin is going around shoving fat into your fat cells, all those lectins and oxalates are also getting shoved into your fat cells. So plants really are, in a way, they really are trying to kill you. So I think that if you eat a variety of nutritious, healthy, meat-based foods, you do not need to have plants in your diet. Okay. So it's critical to eat a diverse range of nutrient-dense animal products. If you're not a fan of things like liver and other parts of the animal, like brain and tongue and all of the different, what do you call them, parts? I can't think of it right now.
Yeah. The
Um,
organs.
the organ meats. If you're not a fan of organ meats, there are supplements out here that you can get. Some people will take a piece of an organ meat and pop it like a pill, and get those nutrients in that way. So you can also do that. Eat, nutrient dense animal foods. Beef is like the top of the line. Beef is the top of the line, and people said you shouldn't eat red meat. You don't need to eat fat. And basically, we've been sold a bill of goods about what we're supposed to be eating to be healthy. I just had Laura review my labs after 18 months on carnivore, and my labs, she told me my labs were like a 20-year-old from back in the day. And
A good 20.
I'm coming up on 60. So that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. I'm very, very excited about it. So, I know that some of us, even carnivore curious, may not do the carnivore diet, but I recommend every single person should try it. They should try it for 90 days and see what happens to your body. Okay, Laura, I think Laura's next. She's going to take us on. Thank you, guys.
Yes. So cholesterol is one of my all-time favorite topics. I have talked on cholesterol in my nursing career, when I worked with cardiac cath lab and open heart. So this is near and dear to me. Coming from a family who has a lot of heart disease and died very young, I have no cousins that made it past 40 and no grandparents or anybody that made it past 62. That was the oldest. So all of them died of heart disease, and 3/4 of them ate no meat. They didn't eat meat, they didn't eat animal fat, and yet they still died from this disease. So, one thing I will say is I don't know if anybody on here has watched Kelly Hogan's um, recent video. She talked about a friend of hers that's been a carnivore for 5 years. I think she just is in her 60s, that she had had a heart attack. And she was coming on and she was like, "How did this happen? How did this happen?" Well, come to find out that this lady had a lot of cardiac disease before. She had had a cardiac calcium score done, and then went on carnivore. Her cardiac calcium score elevated as she was going on. So I don't know that she's a lean mass hyper responder. I'd say she is not. But with her, they should have been looking at like particle size. And I don't know her exact way she was eating, but nobody ever did anything about that, of her numbers, of her cardiac calcium score going up, and just kind of let things be. And then she ended up having a heart attack. But they did tell her that, this diet helped save your muscle of your heart as well. So even though she had that, the muscle did a good job of surviving and not having long-term damage. So with that being said, I would say if you're going to do anything that is, I would do anything other than the standard American diet. Let's just be honest. But if you're going to start this way of eating, I really, really think you should always get lab work ahead of time. I think you should always also have a cardiac calcium score done. After being keto for 26 years, I had my first cardiac calcium scoring done, and I was 368, which is not the most horrible, but it was still up there, which, I have to think was the seed oils and stuff like that I was still taking in with keto. And then after 2.5 years of carnivore, my cardiac calcium score went to 0. and I will get it again, and probably next year, so that it's like another 2.5 years in, almost 3. So it'll be almost 6 years of carnivore when I have it done, because I really think that's kind of a telltale sign. Also, the particle size I think is very important. So cholesterol has been deemed this evil, scary thing in medical literature, on TV, at your doctor's office. You can't go into a doctor's office, at least if it's a cardiology, and it'll have like those displays that show the arteries and how the way you eat, determines what they look like inside. And they literally have it ass backwards. It drives me insane, because I worked in that area, and I can tell you the number of people who did not partake in any kind of good cholesterol, which is animal fats, didn't partake in eating meats. A lot of them were vegetarian, some of them were vegan. They had so much plaque in their arteries. And we've also been, I don't know, what do they call that? Subliminal messaging of plaque being fat, being the cholesterol. And there is a teeny bit of cholesterol in your artery, because if you have an injury to any place in your body, triglycerides are sent out to be like a band aid and start the immune process. But what happens in that whole lumen is, as you keep getting more damage, you keep turning that into more of an osteocyte, which is a bone cell. And that's when it keeps calling in, your calcium, your manganese, your magnesium, your um, copper, all the things that make up your bones get called into there, and that's what becomes the plaque. But we've been thinking that it was butter and bacon and all these things that cause that, and that is not the case. And I have been in the surgeries to see that it's not the case. Nothing in us is going to turn butter into a piece of chalk, and I have seen that come out of somebody's artery, and it's hard as a piece of chalk. And when I questioned the cardiothoracic surgeon about that, he says, "Well, I don't say that. I say it's plaque. I don't say it's cholesterol. I say it's plaque." And I said, "Yeah, but you know that these people think it's the same thing." And I said, "Well, you know me, once I know better, I'm going to tell better. I'm going to be telling these people the truth," which I did. And it's funny, if I was doing something illegal, if I was lying, you would have thought that they would have done something about me telling these people the truth. They said nothing, nothing, and allowed me to educate these people, which most of them never ever made a return visit except for the vegan, unfortunately. So when we think of our bodies, whether you believe in God or not, whatever it is you believe in, I believe that God built us, made us. We have a liver. It's in the right side of your abdomen, just under your ribs. You have a gallbladder, you have your appendix right in that same area. That produces up to 80 to 85% of the cholesterol that is free floating in your body at any given time of the day. That's not on accident. Why was that organ put there? To do that. It also makes bile. It has some other things that filters some stuff out. But to me, how did we survive as a species if somebody was just flopping these organs in there trying to kill us off at the same time? I mean, it doesn't make any decent sense as to that. So, I've had that discussion with my own doctors, like, oh, so my liver was put in my body accidentally. And then she was like, well, no. And I said, well, then let's discuss what cholesterol does for the body. So that's when you look at cholesterol. It is the precursor and the starting point for so many of our vitamins. So you cannot make vitamin D or absorb vitamin D without it. Your thyroid hormones, your sex hormones, none of those will be made correctly if you don't have these things. Your own immune system does not work, without the cholesterol. Then that's just the starting point. Then the cholesterol, think of all the joints in your body that have that synovial fluid. That synovial fluid is also, it's encased, but it is a fat. The brain, can be up to 65% cholesterol. Those things are not on accident. So if you think about your brain being that much cholesterol, all of your cell membranes are a lipid layer. They're a fat layer. That's why they're permeable and can, things can enter. And then your nerves have a sheath over them called a myelin sheath. And that's a phospholipid bilayer. So it's 2 layers of fat. If we don't have fat, if we're not taking in fat, and especially if we're taking in carcinogenic seed oils and fake fats like that, those cause oxidative stress on top of what everyday life gives us anyway. Just our environment, just even when you get sick, when you have stress, all of that can lead to oxidative stress that you have in these areas. So, like most of the time, my patients were mostly men. And so I would just tell them, like, think of your brain or your nerve as a spark plug wire. And you had that coating around it and it's set against the manifold and burn a hole in it. You got to take that black tape and wrap around it so that it can not, so it's not misfiring. That's what cholesterol does in our body to these areas. It'll go in and it'll close over where these areas of oxidative stress have happened and allow it to heal by calling in the immune system. So that bears to reason when you think of when we stopped, well, when we started telling people, and of not eating the fat, not eating the animal meats, that this was going to kill people. When you look back at this, and I did a thesis on this, so I do have that document somewhere. That the proliferation of Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, ALS, and MS went up over 65% in less than 3 years. And it was really bad. I think it was 75% by 7 years. So between that and, does anybody know what came out in 1987? Lipitor.
Yep.
So cholesterol lowering medications. Now, if you don't want to put your tinfoil hat on, you do not, but I will wear mine for a few moments. The other thing that happened in 1987, which I'm sure is just a coinky dink, was that our wonderful Congress, who has lobby money tied into these companies, also decided to get rid of the ban on TV commercials for our medications. So prior to 1987, they were not allowed to be on TV. There are only 2 countries to allow medication commercials, and we're one of them, which leads people, and everybody used to say, well, so that's making the consumer want to go ask their doctors about the medication. No, that's not why that was put out there. That's because the amount of money, over 70% of the commercials on TV today, the money, the revenue that comes is from pharmaceuticals for all of our TV. So your news people, they're going to be more likely to be like, oh, yeah. And if you say anything opposite, well, then that's just misinformation. Even though we have studies proving, not only newer studies proving this, but old studies. People can go back and read the Juniper study. They can go back and read these studies that like Ansel Keys did. And honestly, when you look at the entire thing to it, like the end product of it, it absolutely said right in there, you could see it. It was sugar that caused the inflammation that led to the blood vessel damages, especially with like Eisenhower, which is the kind of the reason that got kicked into high gear because of him having a heart attack. Actually, he had 2. Um, but they knew that. And then you see the money getting funneled to Mr. Ansel Keys from some of your really big petroleum-based families, your Kellogg's families, places, people like that. So we've been sold kind of lies for a long time because of money. And it's something I say about the FDA that drives me insane in this country is other countries. Like if you look at the UK, the people who regulate the food coming out are not the same people as the drugs. So if you look at our FDA, one big agency, so the food portion is what tells you like what's in your food pyramid, what is recommended for you, to eat daily and what's, going to be for your best benefit. Then you eat those foods for 20 years and you start getting these metabolic diseases. Then you run to the doctor. Of course, most of the time it's cholesterol. And the doctor is then regulated by the Drug Administration of the FDA, and they approve the medicines for you to take so that you can not cure, but just disease manage the disease you got from the food that they approved for you to eat. Now that just drives me absolutely insane. I get so crazy over that because I'm like, they should not be together. That is a conflict of interest. But they're not interested in us having good health. They're interested in us as cash cows of we will have a sickness and for our entire lives they will be able to have some money doled out from us at all times to keep going back getting more medications. Um,
Yeah, hence
the other
the
thing,
prescription.
absolutely. Yes. Do you know that back in the day, if you needed a medication, do you realize you didn't have to have prescriptions? That it's kind of like these other places you could just go and it was like, oh, I need ivermectin or I need whatever. You could just go buy it off of the shelf because you knew. But now, it's all so much tied to money. And I'm not against a capitalist type of way of doing things, but this goes above and beyond capitalism. This is really it should be illegal. Yeah, it's just disgusting. So when it comes to cholesterol, another thing is I've worked with some patients that their cholesterol does go up a little bit when they start on carnivore. I think Charlie was talking about that earlier that like his LDL had went up transiently, but as he continues, it's starting to go down. You have your lean mass hyper responders where their total cholesterol may be 500-600 and they're doing absolutely perfect. And when they do their particle size, they're all big, fat, and fluffy fat. And that's what you want because that can't get stuck in those crevices and little cracks and things in the body. So that's what you want. Um, but I just say that I would do blood work. If you decide to do this lifestyle, I would start out with blood work, start out with cardiac calcium score. And then about every 6 months, I would do the blood work just to kind of see where you're at and you can always work with people. I do coaching, I go over people's labs, I go over different things with them from my website. There's other people out there that if you resonate with somebody that else that does that, there's other entities out there. But I do think it's a good idea to get out there and listen to those people, because the other thing that we don't think about, how many times have you went to the doctor and they say, yeah, this is completely normal, and you're like, is it normal or is it you see it all the time? Just because you see it with people eating standard American diet. And so, but that doesn't mean it's normal. It's just like blood sugar. My blood sugar runs in the 50s almost consistently. Almost never do I hit 60. And everybody's like, oh my God, that's great. But I haven't had any of that in 33 years. So I don't, even when I exercise and my liver does gluconeogenesis, another thing it can do to make the glucose that my red blood cells need and a part of my brain needs to have. I still never go above that. But when you look at the old medical journals, if you ever can get your hands, if you can get to an old library and get those old books before 1910, you first of all, you're going to be like, oh, this is amazing. And then you're going to get mad because you're going to be like, we knew better. They knew better, and they twisted everything up to make money. And it was all about how do we get rid of our petroleum that we've mined, and we've got all this petroleum, and it's put it in your food, put it in your medicine, because it's in every medication that comes through a pharmacy. If you look at the pamphlet, every single one of them in their molecular setup has a petroleum in it, every single one. Which is kind of scary because it's supposed to be helping you. Um, so I just say to keep an eye on those things. Like I said, pay attention to how you feel. And if you have questions, reach out, go out there and see who you can find. And maybe you have a doctor that, is on board or understands it. I'm very fortunate that I have two functional holistic doctors in my little bitty town of less than 3,000 people that I live by. Yeah, and we have 2, and they are 100% on board. In fact, both of them are carnivore. So I'm hoping to get at least Dr. Bell. She's my favorite. She loves her red lipstick like you, Robyn. Every time I go there, I was like, well, look at those lips. I mean, she's just a very pretty lady, but very knowledgeable and just very much able to work with somebody like that. So that's what I would recommend. As for deficiencies, when it comes to this, I think you're less likely to have deficiencies in your diet when you are taking in these fats, because the fat soluble proportion of the vitamins that you need. And especially that vitamin D is so big when you think about your immune system and all the crazy stuff that's out there. I don't know about you guys, and maybe it's because I'm in the medical field, but I have taken care of so many pneumonias in the middle of summer. I mean, severe pneumonias. Uh, the fastest cancers I've ever seen in my life. I have my opinions where I think it's coming from, but I'm gonna keep them to myself. um, Cardiac diseases, AFib, craziness. I have never seen it in 22 years, and there's something causing this. Um, and so I would just say, keep an eye on stuff, pay attention to how you feel, reach out to other people who are doing this so that you can get information from people who have done this. You know, Kelly Hogan's been doing it, I think, 15 years now. I'm over 5. You guys are each well over 1. uh won't be long and you guys will be like, whew, you'll be like crazy on how much information you guys have learned. A ton already over just this amount of time. um so I think I would just do those kinds of things. And if you have deficiencies, or like some people lose some hair when they first change diets, reach out to people, see what are some things that they're doing. And I mean, YouTube is a wonderful thing. You know, if you'd have asked me 10 years ago if I'd have believed something I saw on YouTube, I'd have been like, no. Well, now I'm like, no, go to YouTube. I think you're going to have better luck going to YouTube than you are to most of the doctors. Um, so that is my soapbox on cholesterol. So what do you have, G?
Whoo! Look, I even sent Robyn. I said, "Oh, y'all just taking everything." No, no. Listen. So I've been taking notes. I've been taking notes. But guys, at the very beginning, one of the things I talked about is us bringing up: will the carnivore diet cause nutrient deficiencies? Also, is the carnivore diet safe for people with high cholesterol or heart disease? And Laura pretty much answered that. I'm gonna piggyback a little bit because I wrote a couple of things down. One had to do with our cholesterol number used to the total. That's another thing. That's almost like going to the doctor and you got a cavity here and they want to charge you for all your teeth. No, it's this one. It used to be 300 and then we weren't selling enough Lipitor, and so how do we sell it? We drop the number. You get it for 200 now. And so
179.
it's down to 179 now. Oh Lord,
179.
it started out 300, guys, and now it's down to
Yep.
179. Anything total over that, um you can get this wonderful drug straight to
Yeah.
you.
And kill your
Okay,
brain.
but wait. So here, all right. Keep in mind, and I've seen this on social media where you, you know how sometimes people will walk up to you and say, what's that boy named Usher doing at 7 o'clock? It's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm a drop top. That you were supposed to sing the song, right? So now I've seen some where they turn around and go around and they give you a list of symptoms, and you have to guess what the illness is. Not guess, but know what the illness is. And so if though they get so many grants from the pharmaceutical company, you might as well say the medical schools are really run by them. The curriculum is teaching uh prescriptions pretty much. And so now if that's how I got my medical degree, Now I'm in practice, and all of a sudden it comes down and say, hey, we've noticed that no, cholesterol shouldn't go over 179. Well, I'm gonna believe it. I got my degree. This only makes sense. And so I don't want people to like fire all the doctors. They're doing what they were taught to do. There are a lot of people, thank you. There are a lot of people who are having so many issues. And if you're not willing to change your diet, then yeah, medicine, that's what it's
Yep.
designed for you. And you will get a prescription, and you're going to get refills. But they're only going to give you 2 to 3 refills because I need to get you back over into the office so I can bill again. All right. Now, my portion has to do straight out with uh can you get enough nutrients without fruits and vegetables? So let's rewind. I was vegan. And so I used to get a little touched in my feelings when they would put little memes out about, have you ever just seen why vegans are so big? Hmm. Well, let's just tell the truth. It was because I was one of them. All what I tried to do, it didn't work. All right. Now, Robyn hit on it because this is the thing that's fascinating. It's like, okay, so the ruminant animals have these multiple stomach, all right, the different chambers that they can turn around and break the food down and then over into the next stomach and pull some nutrients out, and over into the next compartment, pull some nutrients out, and then you eat that right there and you got the nutrients. That's how it was supposed to work. Makes sense. Well, then they said about the red meat and all of this. I'm getting ready to tell you how I know that I know that I know, without a shadow of a doubt that I know, this is how you're supposed to eat. I know this without a shadow of a doubt. When Laura started talking about God just wasn't throwing organs over in there. Here, just what, put 6 of these over there. Get 32 teeth. Just picking stuff out. There's a reason. You have a gallbladder. What is your gallbladder for? God gave you an entire organ to secrete bile on that red meat and fat that you eating. You have an entire, or you don't have one for the breakdown of vegetables like that. As a matter of fact, you eat, they tell you, okay, you eat the cabbage, then they had to tell you put, especially beans, put a little baking soda or something over in it to kind of settle it down so you just don't your stomach. Why do we have to do? It's telling you not to eat it. It's telling you not to eat it. That is what it's telling. Why am I doubling up over? Why is this still happening? And even with carnivores, they get bubble guts with dairy. It's like, why is this? Your body is wonderfully made. It's wonderful. God did not make a mistake. Even if you don't like the shape of your legs, they still get you one foot in front of the other. Even if you don't like, listen, I always tell people I can grow nails and thighs. It now carnivore, they feel like hoofs hurt. I tell people these things are so strong. Okay, so with that, I want to also add that cholesterol is not a disease.
Right.
Okay, hypertension. Okay, there's some things, but cholesterol is not a disease. That is something that you need. And it makes me sad that that's the first question when I finally break it down. I no longer have this. I no longer I no longer have this issue. I no longer have that soreness. I no longer have, you just say that. But what about your cholesterol? That's the next question. What about it? If not, what would you like to know? That your body needs it. It is that's the thing that's healing you. And this is something that Leah ended up saying her and I, we were talking. Nope, it was on our Wednesday show, but we were saying how you start feeling some good things right away. She talked about that she has not lost all the weight, but a lot of the stiffness and soreness is gone. And I wonder why. You think you fat, and that's why you
Inflammation.
it's the swelling underneath the fat that's
Yeah.
causing you the problems. That knee surgery, you don't have to have it. You don't, it's the swelling in there that's coming from all the stuff that you're eating outside of red meat and fat. That's what's that's what's getting you on swole. Let me just say it another way. That's what's swelling you up. So let me see what else. Oh yeah, that's what I wrote that like really big. You're big and I see it. I see it in the wobble, in the walk. I see it in the hurt of the knee. Look, when you come on, y'all, when you sit and you rubbing them knees, or sometimes you just talking and you massaging your own hand because carpal tunnel, all that is just really bothering you. And there's a rock with it, and in your neck, and just you don't have to live like that. I don't have those issues anymore. Okay, you don't get older to break down. You get older to get better. I'm trying to tell y'all, you don't get older to break down. You get older to get better. Aging in reverse. They talked about Maggie. I felt like Maggie was 83 though. And I watched her on that video throw that leg across a rancher.
I know. Yeah.
I need for you guys to understand. So put that one leg up, throw that leg on over, and jump on down, and then you're doing something. Whoop. And before you knew it, she just snatched you all the way over into next week. That strength. You're not, your eyes are not supposed to not be able to see. And I'm with Laura, and it's not just in the food. After we did a show last week where we were talking about pots and pans and makeup and
my lipstick is on.
Wait a minute, because look, Laura has said something 2-3 times. She mentioned the red lipstick off of somebody else, and I said, "Oh, when we get off, I'm gonna say, hey, Laura, what you think of Robyn?" What you
It's
think
an occasional thing.
Occasional, yes.
Oh my gosh! Listen, Laura, you did no. Listen, last week I actually had a little color on my nails. I took it off before the show.
I am not judgy. I just know what's better.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Yeah.
But you really do. And it's like I kind of look and I say, I really don't need that.
I needed this
really
lipstick today, baby.
Huh?
I need this lipstick today, baby.
Oh, yes, you did. Because
Yeah.
I was like, oh shoot, where's mine? Where's mine? No. No, honestly, it's becoming fun finding the natural alternatives. I don't even want to have to rely on anybody. It's like this has been so eye-opening. And oh, wait, no, I have to share this. I have people reach out to me. And for those that don't know, the three of us have a group, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But over time, I need to go back up. Let me see. Our first I won't give a name, but our first time was February 28th in 2021. Nope, that's a lie. It goes way back. Okay, I ain't going that far back. So we've been on social media for a while. A little bit ago, reached out about what it was that I was doing. I will not share all of the ailments. That part is private. That's her story to tell. But I will share this. They started. It's a couple. They started, and periodically I check in with them. So wow, I just clocked in at work So she did that. I get things, that's what she was cooking. So she's showing me, and it's like, yep, she's talking about day 30. Woohoo! They did it. She said, my husband and I are almost 3 months in. This was back August 18th. She was down 15 pounds, and it's so noticeable for her on her husband. All right. Then she writes back again. Now she's up to 20 pounds, and the husband had lost 42 pounds. It's like, it's so wonderful, especially if you guys can do it together. Now you're looking to see that as you guys age now together, you're aging in good health. You're aging. I'm telling you, Frederick and I have just recaptured life. I'm not kidding. In our mind at 60, you know, we can, wait, I can't say that part. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This
This is not Carnivores
Carnivores
After
After
Dark.
No,
Dark.
it's not that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it wasn't that part. I would have let that one
Look,
slip.
we made her
I'm
blush.
just saying that we're around other people our age. That's about the best way I can put that. We're around other people
Yes.
our age, and it's like I'm almost I'm feeling sad because I know what
Yep.
will unlock what it is that you're going through. But you so wrapped up on a freaking fruit and vegetable, you can't see past that. I didn't say forever. I said, do this. You have all of these ailments. I'm
Yes.
telling you that this is life changing. You didn't see me on here for anything else. I wasn't on here for vegan. I didn't tell you about the 10-day cleanse. I wasn't trying to tell you about eat fish. Do you, boo? That's my life. Do you, boo? But then this happened to me. I wake up so much of my life over 200 pounds. As I would say, baby. I don't know, 138, 139 something this morning. I go between, I normally say 130, between 139 and 141. That's been my sweet spot where I kind of rest, and I feel my body reshaping itself. My lower legs are getting smaller, but I just really think that everything is coming back up in here to my thighs. I'm thigh heavy. It's like it's in the family, and I'm like, oh my God.
Me too.
And
Yep.
so there we are. We have some things that we were going to address. We want to talk about the group and stuff that we have provided and put together that is phenomenal.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna wait till next month. It's not even a challenge. It is we put things out for you to get a little shift in what you're doing, so you're feeling the best about yourself. It's just that check-in group. You're learning about someone else. You're sharing things and stuff about you. It is a small community. We got little pods, and each one is it. I'm just thankful.
Yes.
Like the best that I can say. All right, what's next, guys? What's next?
So we do have
wrap
a couple
this
of
up.
comments in here that we need to address. I
Mhm.
didn't see any QQQs, but I did see a couple that we probably need to just touch on.
Okay.
I'm going to pop this up here. So Felicity was asking about our thoughts about the possibility that our supplement intake can be diminished by stomach acidity.
Yep. It actually can be diminished by stomach acidity, the enzymes that you are getting or are not getting. So somebody that's had the sleeve or something like that, supplements that, sometimes they will have to have those because of having those procedures done, but not all of them will need to do that. But that is absolutely something that can happen. And I think if you can get the majority of the nutrients that you need out of especially the red meats, The ruminant animals, I think that's probably the best for your body. But there are people who sometimes can't afford all of that, and they have to do the cheaper cuts of meat, like your bologna, your hot dogs, which you can do. But for getting those vitamins and minerals and things like that, sometimes they do have to supplement. So I still think you can get better versions, like you can get things that are methylated, which means they're already converted, so you're able to uptake it faster. So I guess my recommendation would be, if there's somebody out there that is deficient in something that they don't find that they're getting out of their food, I would try to find a methylated version of that, and usually liposomal, which means it's in a fat. It's like a dropper, and it'll be in a fatty type of a compound. So that's what I would do.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. The next one is a question about cooking so that it's not overwhelming. Do you cook up your meats at the same time and spread it out for 2 meals?
I
Well,
do.
I know for me, it all depends what I got a taste for. But sometimes I will work my way up to a cookout where I will smoke some meat, I'll do it all, and then that I end up freezing, and then I, pull it from there. I do it like that. Laura eats the exact same thing. So I can see Laura like fixing,
Yep.
the burger,
Huge.
right? And I'll eat this portion, that portion. She leaves the house, she's, on the go. For Robyn works from home, and so do I. And so my answer would be no.
No, most of the
Oh
time,
no,
no.
it's
Yeah.
whatever I have that taste for.
Yep.
Today it was liver. And my house is really loud with liver right now.
I
And
like my meat to be freshly cooked in general. So, and I do have some ways of reheating things today. Actually, I did just what G mentioned, and I pulled a bunch of smoked meats out of the freezer, and then I sous vide heated them up.
Oh yeah.
So I used my sous vide to reheat them. It came out so juicy and tender, just like it just went in. And but in general, I like to I mean, sometimes I'll cook up a bunch of bacon, or I'll make like a tuna salad. I cook a bunch of boiled eggs, those kinds of things. But for my meats, I generally like to cook every day. Plus, cooking is therapeutic for me, so I enjoy it very much. It's like, yeah, it's therapeutic, isn't
I
that?
know, but I really like being on the ship, and it's just everybody cooking for me.
Yeah, so I enjoy cooking.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, being on carnivore, that's one of the most challenging things about being on carnivore is that you can be eating within 10, 15 minutes of anything, almost anything that you want to cook. So I enjoyed the sous vide today because it took hours, crock pot and, stuff like that. But yeah, I generally like to eat my meat freshly cooked.
And I don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to have my meat fresh because I don't reheat mine. So like I'll make a pound and a half or 2 pounds of burger in the morning, and I may eat part of that at lunch and the other part at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes I eat in the morning and I eat at noon, and then I don't eat again till the next day. It just depends. But I leave my stuff on my desk at work, so it's in 70 degrees. So when I go back after seeing patients, if I'm going to eat it, I just eat it like that. I literally pour more salt and I eat it. Um, it doesn't bother me. I don't have to have my food warm. I do like my meat to have been cooked a teeny bit, not a lot, but I can't eat raw. I know some people, I think Dr. Kiltz talks about that. And I'm like, I am not there, and I don't think I'm going to get there, but I don't know. I didn't think I was going to
Be
get
a
to the point
lion,
where I
and you
didn't.
are.
I know. And I didn't think I would ever get to the point where I wasn't taking in that high. I still take in a lot of salt, but I don't require the amount that I used to.
Mhm.
And it just hit me just a few months back. It was like, oh, I don't need that. It tastes different to me. So I knew that. I was like, I never would have thought that either, because I mean, it's been 5 years that I just use salt like crazy. And I still put it on all of the food that I eat. but I rarely will have the Soleil water now. I don't feel the need to have that. Now, I mean, if it, wasn't really a real hot summer, maybe that would have made a little difference. Maybe I was a little wimpier and stayed inside a little more during the summer. I don't
Hey,
know.
let's knock the rest. Let's tackle these real
Yeah.
quick. All right. So Dartha had said, I tried to get. I know. I think this is so jacked up. A 1 year follow up CAC scan out of pocket,
Yeah.
but the hospital said they couldn't do it. He needed a referral. I think that's so jacked up. But
That
all right,
is.
let's go.
Yeah, you do have to have a doctor's order. That's one that you can't get through like own your own labs or any of those. But if you have, I mean, you have to play the game with your physician. Be like, oh, you're worried about my cholesterol. So am I. If you'll order me a cardiac calcium score, I'll go do that today. Because literally, you do have to pay for it out of pocket. Most of the insurances don't cover it, but it's anywhere from $50 to $125. It's not the worst thing you'll
Wow.
ever spend that kind of money on. And have it that way. That's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give me one. All right, so here, Italian immigrant relatives and still use canola corn oil and
Oh,
pasta with added synthetic vitamins. You know the brain. Oh, I know memory loss, y'all. It's like I've never seen this many dementia patients. It's like,
Yep.
when I did that, when I studied that for my thesis, and that was prior to me being carnivore. I mean, I was already keto at that point, but just seeing the sheer numbers, and I mean, you couldn't deny it.
Mhm.
They talk about causation. Absolutely. It was like this drug came out. We told everybody to quit eating fat. And it was like, even with the number of like baby boomers coming up, because they're pretty large generation, even taking that into account, it was just crazy high.
oh my,
Yeah, I saw
y'all
this
look.
Lupe.
I didn't. Look, stop it! I say. Come on, Lupe, you just made my day. Keep sharing your message, sweetie. She could not raise her left arm, very
Mhm.
inflamed. And
Wow.
now that you know, it's like so many people don't realize uh the
Inflammation.
restriction of movement that you end up having. And I would not listen. I'm reading this, just it's like Miss Brown. Wait, Miss Brown, that's me.
That's you, girl. That's you.
Yeah.
Oh, I know 60 pounds is a whole person, girl. You didn't let go. Stop it, I say. Oh, that
Beautiful.
was just great.
Wonderful.
Wait, we got one more. Uh Karen says, hold on, let me read this.
Yeah.
My doctor told me there is a possibility of insurance companies not paying for lipid panels. She doesn't think. Yeah. Oh, I hate to hear
And
that.
that's where I sent her
No.
a thing saying that she can go out to ownyourownlabs.com.
Yeah.
She just has
Yeah.
to find a lab that is lab core. It has to be lab core. Because
Okay.
you don't have to have a diagnosis code on the lab for them to do it. Some of the
That's who we
hospital labs,
use.
yes, you have to have a diagnosis. So you have to make sure that your lab, before you buy these labs, make sure that the lab you're going to is a lab core so that they don't have to have that diagnosis code.
Yeah, that's we went what he paid $199 for like a
Yeah.
slew of tests. So I thought that was pretty good. All right, what we got rolling?
That is it. That is what we have rolling.
Okay, no, wait, what? This week, Laura, on your I was reading, that's what it was. I was reading a comment. Y'all know I can't do two things at once. Go ahead. What you got
It's a
going, Miss
squirrel.
Laura?
I did an interview with my metabolic life, which is Brett, and I did one with Emily. I I feel so bad. I don't cannot remember her last name. She's so super smart, and she's in Missouri. She's not very far from me. So we are going to meet up at some point. And at first she said share a steak, and I was like, and she goes, "We'll have a steak together because we ain't sharing a steak." Um, so I think I'm going to do a second interview. There's another gal that this Brett has kind of put me in touch with. who reversed her MS and some other conditions through the carnivore. And so I really kind of want to get on with her. And I want to start, I'm trying to do more interviews, but I am so busy making these products, y'all. Which is okay. I like it, but it's just like they're like, "Where are you going to do it live?" And I was like, "Well, as soon as I have extra hours, you know." So,
Yeah,
but
she
anyway, hi
crochets. She
Russ.
does it all.
I do, I do. I was crocheting before I came on after work. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, because it's relaxing to me. So I was like, I had a little rough day, and I had to get a little evil with the hospital administrator who thought he was something, and he's not. So
Listen, you
Oops.
crochet. Back in the day, I drank wine. There you go. Okay, so I am ketovore with lots of moderations. Ooh. And that is
mm,
why my scale hasn't moved in 3 months.
Yeah.
And next month and month after that, it won't probably. Thank you for letting us in conversations, even if we're not sure. Oh, yeah. Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah.
oh,
This is,
Absolutely.
listen, the topic is food. And
Yeah.
as long
yeah,
as you're thinking about what you are putting in your body, see, when Frederick had that episode with his kidneys, now I that's literally because now I know you don't think of how important and everything that you are putting in your mouth that they are filtering out. That's the thing. So I think about y'all, I think about all those times on the cruise ship with the drink package, and my kidneys was trying, we make a little thing about the liver, that too. Oh, liver, hold on. When we're eating the muffin, the orange juice, going through and getting that caramel frappe through the Mec window, or you going to Wendy's and getting the Oreo frosty Slurpee. I can't remember now I'm just telling you stuff I used to get. I can't remember the name of it now. Yeah, that you're doing that.
Yeah.
And all of that has to get processed. And when you top it off, that everything I said was never meant to go in your mouth. We finna
Yeah.
stop the live right there. That's it. None of that was ever meant to go in your mouth. And we are putting our organs through all of that and then wondering why we stiffening up and wondering why we can't see. Oh, I got a little blurred vision. Thank God you still have an eye. You have been eating years. I ain't talking a few months. I'm talking 10, 20, 30, 40 years. 50. 9 years I was eating just wrong. Just
Mhm.
it was never meant to go in your mouth, let alone your body. Thank God you still here. And you still have a chance. Now, one of the things, Robyn, you want to talk about our little group?
Absolutely. We started a new Marco Polo group. This is building community on steroids.
yes, it
We
is.
absolutely love it. It's called FeLions Carnivore Life, and it is a life group. Basically, we're in there, and G talked about it a little bit. We're in there sharing our lives together. In the group, you have a motivator, you also have a coach, and you also have a nurse. And so we're there to support you. We're there to also get support from you guys, as well as answer any of your questions. We get a lot of questions in the group, and we're not the only ones in there answering them, because we have a fantastic group that's answering each other's questions, and so it's really, really awesome. So if you're interested in joining our Marco Polo community, you can do that from any one of our channels. You can just click the join button, and then you will want to choose the $19.99 a month option. So
Mhm.
on my channel, that's called FeLions Carnivore Life. I believe it's the same FeLions Carnivore Life on Laura's channel, and I'm not sure about G.
Lifestyle changes. I had already put it in
Lifestyle
there.
changers
Yeah, I
on,
know. We just have to.
with the Browns. So if you see that join button, just click it. When you click the join button, it will pop up the options, and you'll be able to see the options for joining. And you can, and if you join it on any one of our channels, that is your entrance into the group. And we'll
You get all three of us. You get all three of us.
Love to see you there. Love to see you there.
Wait, it's so funny. I'll hear the app go. I was like, oh, who's the first one on this morning?
It's been
Laura up doing sprint. I know. Is so and so playing pickleball? I mean, because it's accountability as well. You come on and are we holding you where like let me see you do another push-up. We're not doing that. No. Now I do have a different group that yes, they actually Friday mornings, 5:30 a.m. do a workout together. I'm gonna be on the next this Friday. Yes.
This is Dr. Nelson talking on moderation. For me, I'm just gonna say, G's already given the tough love talk. Thank you, G. Moderation to me is a lie from the pit.
Yes,
I am not a moderator.
Let me tell you what moderation is, and here we are. Y'all saw the movie The Help, right? Moderation is just one spoon. I'm telling you, this cake, these brownies gonna be so good. My secret ingredient is just 1 teaspoon of boo-boo. It's mixed in, you don't even know it, but it makes it so creamy. That's moderation to me. Yes. Yeah. We have a male group, Susan, and female group. And let me say this: you don't have to be carnivore to be in the group. That's not right. I mean, you don't have to be there. Everything, the knowledge and stuff that's coming forth, even if you want to participate and just gain the knowledge, you can do that as well. But the information that is shared with you is like this. We know, Dr. Nelson, that was sarcasm. We know.
I heard it. I could hear it.
Yeah, so
we felt it.
Damn. Yes, that is. It's like, come on, moderation with smoke, moderation. Yeah, you can.
Sure. Well, I think the important thing to think about in this eating is that it's really comes down to if you want to look at it as like the big thing, it's the ketogenic. So you want to get in ketosis, and you can get in ketosis in several different areas. I actually, not that I'm saying this is a good idea, but I know somebody who ate still the standard American diet, but he only ate 1 meal a day that way and fasted the rest and actually lost 50 pounds, lowered his blood pressure, did a lot of stuff. Now that he's gotten there, he's like, well, how much better can I get? And he has decided to add in taking out some of those things and is feeling amazing. I mean, he looks 10 years younger in less than 6 months. I mean, it's just crazy.
I think
but it's really more about
what you're saying, Laura. You started thinking about the food. That's the whole point, guys, of this particular platform. It's to get you to thinking about the food. Laura is a lion. I can almost be at her house and know it's going to be a ruminant meat, some ribeye, fat bites, and some water. I already know. And she's good with that. There you go. And we tried it. It didn't catch on for me. It caught on for my husband, but he was doing that anyway. But it didn't catch on for me. I like to, dabble in the animal kingdom, but I also know without a shadow of a doubt, I have to eat as a lion a few of those days. I can't, there's no way.
Most days I do.
Yeah, most days it's mainly the lion version of it. I know today I'm just I had
bacon for me.
Well, no, well, that's carnivore.
Bacon for me. Lion plus bacon.
Today it was liver, And fat bites for me today. That's pretty much what I had. That was that yeah, in my water, because I know that I've had. Oh, a piece of cheese. I know that I had some heavy whipping cream a couple of times. I know that I've had these things. And so to me, I have to go back to what I was meant to eat. But the great part is you are thinking of food. And so for whatever it is you're putting in, just know it needs to nourish you and go down and please think of your organs. I just hear them talking to me in the spirit saying, help,
Right.
help.
Can you go into ketosis on carnivore? 100%. You can go into ketosis on 50 to 20 carbs per day. So if you think about the ketogenic diet, keto is a high fat, low carbohydrate diet. The whole purpose of that, they say, within the first couple of weeks, stay down around 20 carbs per day. You will get into ketosis on 20 carbs a day. I think throw net carbs out the window, just use total carbs, and 20 total carbs a day, you'll be into ketosis.
And
if you're on
if you're doing
carnivore, you're doing
carnivore, yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, you're going to be in ketosis all the time, even if you eat crazy. And I didn't know that when I first started, but I have a keto mojo. And I always tried to see how high I could get my ketones. And I actually got 5.8 one time.
Ooh.
That was fasting. And that
Yeah.
was too long of a fast. I ain't doing that to myself again. But I run at 2.5 all the time. And that's eating a pound and a half, 2 pounds of meat and fat every single day. I don't know. I probably need to do another fast, but yes, you are in ketosis when you eat carnivore.
Yes.
Oh, Dr. Nelson, that's my favorite right there, baby. Yes, for me. Let me see.
So would love a video on that topic and what foods you ate that made you go into ketosis. I know it's different for everyone, but don't have a keto mojo yet. Yes. Okay. Thank you for that suggestion.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What's going on your channel this week?
To Wednesday. I almost said tomorrow. Wednesday, Leah and I are going live 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. We have actually been telling a story. So when her and I we just talked about being big. The next week, because we try and keep that down to less than 30 minutes because we do it on her lunch break. Talked about different the next episode, we were just talking about different diets and stuff that we have tried. Last episode, we talked about the decision that we made to both have the gastric sleeve. Mine was almost 12 years ago. I'm looking at 2000 something for hers. It's been recent though. I think 17. That's recent compared to when you get old, it's recent. And so we've pretty much went through this journey, and now we're both carnivore. We both say we wish we knew carnivore before the drastic cutting on ourselves. But this is where I am now. And I want people to know that getting healthy and smaller did not happen after that surgery. It did not at all. I developed some other issues. And there's a few things that I'm still dealing with now because of this surgery. But baby, wouldn't have it any other way. Wouldn't have it any other way. And the mister is gone. So there's just things around the house that I want to do that you just can't do when y'all is cleaning. I'm not running around naked. That's not what I was trying to say. Because I can do that with him here. That's not it. No, it's the cleaning for me. It's just stuff I just don't want nobody around when I'm doing. What we got? Grateful keto in here.
Yep, she's right.
For my channel this week, of course, I am continuing with my September challenge. high fat stick of butter a day challenge. Yesterday, y'all, I made ghee. G also made ghee. Oh
She did.
my word. If you have not made ghee,
It's good stuff.
you're missing out.
No, tell what we did with it. Oh
In
my
the
God.
coffee, ghee in the coffee, ghee in the eggs, ghee on the bat bites, ghee. It was so delicious. It tastes like caramel. It tastes like a toffee.
It does.
Unsweetened, of course. But yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely delicious. So that video will be coming out. And then also OMG, that's right. 100%. It was so good. Also,
it's so simple to make, guys. It is so simple.
she has a video. I don't know if Laura has a video on making it. Those guys did a video together.
No, we
making
did
ghee.
it on the channel. We
It
did
was
it
on
on
this.
here.
Oh, on the channel. That's right. So it's on
Everybody,
the
remember, we
channel.
all had a pot and stuff. I know, y'all. We gonna cook. We got to do that again.
We need to do a cooking
Dr.
show
Nelson
again.
said
That
he's
was
been
so
making
much
it for
fun.
years.
Yes.
And I did one on my channel previously, like early on in the year. So
Yes.
I want to tell about this last thing that I'm going to be doing because I want you guys to know about it. So on Saturday, I usually have a guest on Carnivore Scramble Speaks. This week, I do not. I am going to be doing like a hop on, hop off type of a show. So I would love it if you guys would come in, tell a little bit of your story, just come in and meet me. So that's going to be on Saturday evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I hope to see you guys all there.
There we go. We will. All right. Well, in the meantime and in between time, you work your thing and I work mine. We will see you guys next week. Hey!